classroom. So basically, I want you to learn as much as you can outside from the 1.5 hours lecture that we have in this class. Now, so just like us, no, even if we're old already, we always read, and then we'll also watch even YouTube videos, not to, for us to even learn more about things that we are interested in. And I hope this one subject, you guys will take it also even farther, by reading other books. If you want, I can share some ebooks. Yeah, it will take time, but that will give you more knowledge. No, that's more important. Sabi nga na knowledge is power, no, kung kaabot pa man ni Erne Baron. So hopefully, guys, yeah, we're showing you the path, no, for you to learn more. But we're trying to make a structure, especially on this subject. But the progress, I mean, for me, the progress that you want to take personally is for you to advance by doing things like further readings and all that. All right. So previously we discussed about design thinking, no? So that is a very important lesson, I should say. And now we're gonna discuss about business model, no? So of course, we try to talk about, of course, this technopreneurship 101 subject is founded on that, on the premise that students will hopefully engage in business in the future, if not very soon, but somehow in the future. So if we have the potential to work with or start our own business, so basically these are the things that we also need to cover and understand. Okay, so I prepared the presentation. So pag mga graphics, medyo matagal gawin yung presentation, so it takes time. Okay. So our agenda for today would be covering about the business model, introduction to business model. Siguro nakadungog na mong unsa nag business model, no? We'll try to kind of give you some initial information or background about this. So we'll talk about the introduction of business model, and then also the dimensions of business model, the key ingredients for how companies make money. I think this is the most important thing. Another thing is the business modeling tools, introduction to the business model tools that every startup or entrepreneur can consider or use. And then I think the very popular terminology that you will often hear these days when we discuss about more about startups are related to the business model canvas. So we're gonna discuss in terms of the introductory part of the business model canvas. This is a powerful tool to summarize our business. Now, before, it will really, like if you apply for a loan in the bank because you need investment, you really need to prepare a long business model proposal. No, today, we parang yung traditional na establishment or preparation of the business model has been parang changed with the summary of the business model canvas. So we also discuss describing your business model, and I think another one important thing for this subject is for this topic is the value proposition. So we'll understand more about this, and perhaps we've heard a bit of this and that, and hopefully in this discussion that we have, we will be able to clarify some things now based on what I also know. All right. So this topic will be shared to you for, I think, 2 to 3 meetings, because there's so many things that we can discuss there. I know hopefully the midterm exam is on October 29, so we will kind of cover this as well. Finish this topic. All right. So the business model introduction part, no? So a business model is a company's core strategy for profitability or profitably doing business. But because we know that business exists not to lose money, but to kind of generate income for the company and expand the company per se. Now, so we would expect that when we start business, so there is an element of risk, but we know that one of the most important thing is also to get a return of our investment that is due no for our business because we need investment no, when we do business. So basically, this is related to like for example, you're telling us you need capital because you want to start a business. So people would tend to borrow, and then you would identify. Okay, the bank will ask you how are you gonna make money, no, based on this business. So kung I think it's very familiar for us kaning negosyo nga for example mga sari-sari store no of course you buy goods and then you resell the goods and then reselling it for a higher price or a higher margin or profit margin so that at the end of the day you will be able to get profit no to cover the costs. So the costs no so cover the cost. So it's also good that we will cover some of these things during the finance, no? So in the topic of finance, because we don't want to sell products, no, that at the end of the day we're gonna lose money, no, so we don't have profit. So it's a core, parang we need to be able to like really get an income coming from this kind of business, no, that we want to pursue. So that's why it's very important to define how we'll be able to make money, and then we'll get some examples of how companies make money. All right. So models generally include information like products or services, the business plans to sell, target markets, and any anticipated expense. So again, in the design thinking process early on last week or 2 weeks ago, we discussed about who are our intended customers. So our customers the customer segment, who are these different customers that we can like consider in terms of selling our products or the products that they will be using. So these are most important things that we need to do. So magkadugtong to kumbaga, no? So these are things that we need to kind of understand very well, no? And then, of course, the expense. So when we try to make business proposals, so we somehow initially identify the costs, no? Expense. Like for example, if you're a business who would go into a sari-sari store or a commercial business, like you would want to establish your own grocery, no? Like for example, ano ba yung malakas na grocery like 7-Eleven. Of course, 7-Eleven would be considering the cost. Like they would be asking themselves, is this part of our business plan to establish our own buildings, and then that's where the 7-Eleven store will be put in place, or either the second option would be like would we rent out to save the construction cost, things like this. So those are the things that, like for example, these convenience stores would consider. And most of the time, we always look no kung which part is more advantageous to the business. Of course, we'll be talking about in the finance subject. Actually, we'll be talking more about what are the fixed costs, what are the variable costs, or things like this. For example, you guys, if you want to relate this in your daily lives, now, for example, if you are now having your face-to-face subjects, no, so classes in the university, so you would look into what are my fixed costs in terms of residing in Butuan City. So what are my variable costs? No? So these are the things that we will be covering. All right. Okay. So a business model is simply a representation of how a company makes or intends to make money. So we know for businesses right now that exist, if you look at them carefully, so you would have a good picture if you try to understand the business and then how the income streams are coming in for the company. For example, in the banks, so how does the banks makes money? So I think para natin discussion, I would like to ask the audience or you guys, as an example, how do banks earn money? Paano ba yung mga bangko kumita ng money? Ng revenue? All right? Anybody from the class? how do banks earn money? Paano ba sila kumikita ng pera, yung mga bangko? Although marami silang pera nasa bangko. Pero how do banks, no? So banks exist. I think the first question is why and how do they make money? All right. So Kernel and Matt have the same answer here, loan. Service charges, okay, Yani, thank you. Lloyd Jan, interest, so that would be interest coming from the loans, right? All right. So other way banks are earning money. So you kind of touch on already on the parang pinaka-importante na way of making money, no? So they try to offer loans to those who are wanting to have money to put up businesses or even yeah, ano ba yung mga types of loans? Sige. Colonel, Matt, Yani, Lloyd, so the others also. What are the types of loans? When you go to the bank, what types of loans do you usually get? What types of loans? Mga loan. Anong klaseng loan yun? Right, number one kay Colonel, salary loan, car loan from Yani. Alright. Ano pa? Student loan. Pwede ba? Pwede pala. Student loan, agricultural loan, okay. Personal loan, okay. Jessa, Colonel, and Jessel. Okay. Meron pa ba? Other, okay. Sa credit card, okay. Home loan, alright. What kinds of loan pa? Yani again. Alright. So, these are the active students talaga sa class. Alright. So, perfect, guys. Perfect. No, so they have plenty of ways to earn money, no? As long as basically they paid, for example, no, in the car loan. So ano yun? Car loan, home loan, student loan, agricultural loan, ano pa ba? Car loan. So managingon nila nga naka-loan na gyud mi tanan. Tapos ang kuan na lang gyud, for loan, appeal for loan. For loan. So yeah, so the way that no, so ayun yung gutda ang loan, no? So naka-home loan na mo, naka-car loan. No? So ayaw tao ng yes, Laris business loan. Mortgage, debt consolidation loans. Okay. So there are so many kinds of loans, no, that even in the US we don't even know, no. So even business to business, you know, guys, that even big companies, corporations, they have plenty of loans, diba? So even kita personal, even individuals have our own respective loans. And big companies also have their loans because usually they make loans. The reason for that is to expand their business. Now in return, the banks earn from the interest of their loans. So from the principal to the interest. For example, if you like sa home loan, the rate would be around 5-7%. I think right now it's cheaper, no? All right. Yes, Matt. Even the government has trillions of loans, no, from the Asian Development Bank or the World Bank. No? So even with us, no, so magkano na ba utang ng Pilipinas? No? So these banks exist to offer services, but they also earn money. So now for us individually, if we kind of some access loan, so usually anong tawag doon, pag yung bahay natin parang nakasanla, no, we need to endorse the title. Halimbawa, if you want to loan a car, so our house will serve as collateral, no, to the bank. So pag hindi tayo nakabayad, so yung bahay kukunin nila. No, so that's a lengthy parang legal lengthy legal dispute later on, lalo na pag yung may-ari hindi nakabayad. So I think pag ang bangko kasi maraming pera, no, so they can hire their lawyers so you can get your house, no. So basically this is just one, no, and every business have different kinds of business models, so they have different kinds of earning money, no. So we know like Jollibee Foods, they have, of course, they directly sell their product and they earn profit, no, coming from the direct sale of the product to the consuming public. And of course, if you notice, they have a very high profit margin, di ba? If you buy one, parang chicken McDo, di ba, with rice and soft drinks, magkano na ba? It's around 80 pesos to 100 pesos, no? So mahal na, no? So it used to be 29 pesos in 2000. Now 20 years later, ganon ka taas na yung price, no? So is it 100 pesos already yung chicken Jollibee chicken or chicken McDo? So around 100 pesos, no? So it used to be 29 pesos. So you see the inflation over the years, no? 20 years. During that time, ganun ka taas yung inflation. So you've often hear about the inflation today, di ba? Even gasoline prices right now are high. So basically, business model now, how we make money. So if you have a business now, guys, you think of ways. Paano ba natin? How can we get or earn money from this, profit money from this business? No? So would the profit be sustainable? Kaya ba? No? So those are the challenges, no? Especially if the product you design or the transaction is like government ba? So medyo challenging sa government, no? But private to private, business to business, I think that's way better, no, than the government transactions. Now, we go back to another definition for the business model. No, this is the description of how your business runs. So, well, look at these different businesses like the food chain. So we know exactly how they kind of develop this um, business process nila, no? So we know pag kanang mga restaurant like Jerry's Grill, if you compare Jerry's Grill or ano po mga what other restaurants here in the Philippines that you guys are really familiar with, TGI Fridays, Densos, this restaurant takes so long, no, to prepare their food, but they have this business process different for a fast food chain. Kaya nga fast food kasi in 10 minutes time, 5 minutes time, dapat yung food is already prepared. No? You don't have to order the food. You just get immediately the food that you want. So this is how the business runs for the fast food chain. No? Like for example, Chowking, McDo, Jollibee, ang inisal, more or less, they're trying to really fast track everything. No? So they're in the category of the fast food because people don't have to wait for time. So they want the food immediately available to them. So those are fast food. But for people who have the time and who they want to go to a fancy place and they want to really enjoy the like family time with friends, time with office mates. So usually they go to these kind of restaurants, no, to spend time. So these are different business processes. No, how do they run businesses? So at the end of the day, you look into the consideration of what would the kind of business process that um, that is basically fit to your business. So for us engineers, so because we want to develop products, invent products, so most likely we will have a different business setup as well. So yeah, we're gonna talk about that even more later. So the other one here is from Osterwalder and his fellow authors. It says here that business model is the rationale of how an organization creates, delivers, and captures value. So I think this is a very good definition. No? So he is the creator actually of the business model canvas, no? So Osterwalder. So it defines now how this business or entity or your startup business would create and then deliver and then captures value. So again, we go back to the discussion of the design thinking because we want to make sure that whatever we develop, a product, a process, or service, would provide value to the consuming public, to the users that we intend to offer our products or services. That's why in the design thinking and the business model canvas, medyo magkadugtong to sila because we want to make sure that we provide value. No, we provide value or capture value to our consuming public. No, provide value and capture value. So we create value, we deliver value, and then we also capture value. So in a nutshell, we're looking at the entire business in itself now when we talk about the business model. Okay, but what do you mean by value? No? So, and again, another example here. Sorry, I'm not the owner of Jollibee, but let us say that this is just the, I don't know, our, because we are all familiar with the Jollibee, no? So this is just an example. So Jollibee would say that how do we make money in this business? I think we covered that earlier. So they're offering, so paspas ang transition, no? Paspas ang kanang to produce the product, so paspas ang kanang turnover sa product, no? So dagan mamalit, magpila pa, so paspas dapat paspas gid siya. So na sila yung mga queuing, dapat nga dagan ang queuing para dagan customers to serve kung nga nasa sa katong wala pa yung pandemic, no? Now, so for us, we also want to make sure that identify who is really the customer or the consumer that we want to offer our services. So what is the value, no, to the customer? So that's the biggest question. No? So for fast food, I think I mentioned already. So one of the value that Jollibee offers or this fast food chain offers that um, one of the value no, kumbaga, is the availability of the food to the customers in a manner na it's quick, fast, and they're offering na also delicious food. No? So they're trying to sell that. So that's what they try to provide as a value to the customer. No? So fast, no? Because they are fast food. Right? So for us, na we don't want really to wait. For example, ako no, for example, I don't want to drop by in a restaurant and eat because I'm so busy. For example, I'm so busy, no, I need to work. I need to work. No, so a lot of things I need to do. So what I do is usually mag-create of drive-through. No, I go to the drive-through. I don't want to stay in also in the store because I want to have a fast, parang get a very fast time na to get my food. So I go to the drive-through. So that's one of the things that this Jollibee offers, no, to their customer. And on the same thing, you need also to understand that in your startup business that you will be proposing, the business idea, so you now begin, what kind of value are we gonna offer um, to our customer? No? So what are the values? So we need to create value such that our customers would love the value that um, you offer to them, so they will really pay you in return. No? So there is a business happening. Because if we're not offering a value, then nobody would kind of consider that. No? For example, sa Jollibee. So again, going back to the Jollibee, no, aside from the time that you spend, no, kumbaga the short time that you spend in buying Jollibee. So they may also make delicious food. No? For example, the way they cook the chicken. No? So they have value in that. Now they're offering a different kind of value because the chicken in Jollibee and McDonald's or KFC, for that matter, they have different taste. No, it's kind of different that we don't oftentimes or recreate that at home. No, so basically, this Jollibee, McDonald's, they're not offering the same taste of fried chicken at home. Kasi if that happens, parang ako frustrated ang tao, no? Because you expect a very nice food from Jollibee, pero parang lasa lang din naman to sa bahay. Sa bahay na lang ako magluto ng chicken. I don't want to go to Jollibee anymore, di ba? So, things like that. So, they offer a different taste, a different parang panglasa, no? So that's the thing, di ba? Even in spaghetti, di ba? In spaghetti, so they have a different taste. I don't know you guys kung how many of you can recreate the taste of Jollibee. Meron ba? Is there somebody here who can recreate the taste of Jollibee? Meron ba dito? So among you can recreate the taste of Jollibee fried chicken or the spaghetti? Kasi I want to hire you. I want to hire you as my chef. um, Kasi yung kids namin, yun, panay food panda. So kung meron man, we will never tried. Night tutorials on YouTube. Yeah, I actually, Jessel, no, you said night tutorials on YouTube, pero actually, I tried that, pero failure. So, I'm not really a good cook siguro, no? You know, guys, during the pandemic, I'll just tell you the story, no? I'm not promoting Jollibee. So, during that time, there was a shutdown, di ba, March last year. And then what happened is that Jollibee announced that they have extra parang supply kasi the store closed, di ba, sa halimbawa sa Robinsons. They already closed their store in Robinsons, and they have plenty of chicken based on their inventory. So what they did was sell those inventory kasi nga down talaga yung business, di ba? Jollibee were not allowed to operate the fast food. And then they sold it to the supermarket sa Robinsons then. So what happened is that, when my wife learned about it, so we really bought a lot of chicken. And you know, guys, that's the only time, no? So hindi pa cooked, no, yung ano pa, uncooked pa, kumbaga nasa grocery sa wet market ng Robinsons. So we bet them how many kilos yung pinili na, 10 kilos ata. I don't know, you bought different like legs, wings. And then what happens is that I was trying to investigate it, no? So I was looking at the chicken. Ano pa yung ginawa? Wala namang cover. Parang ano lang siya talaga, normal na chicken. So inamoy-amoy ko, wala din namang amoy. Nung niluto na, it's really when we cook it like the usual way dito sa bahay, yun, parang nagkalasa talaga siya ng, parang Jollibee talaga to. So you will identify. And yung trade secret nila talaga, I learned from that, na doon talaga doon sa preparation ng meat, no, paano nila prepare yung meat. So nandun yung trade secret. Kasi yung way of cooking naman, pareho din. And ang lasa talaga ng Jollibee. So sabi ko, paano kaya nila to pinipay yung chicken? So that's the mind-boggling question. Yung preparation ng chicken. Kasi alam mo yung pag pinirito mo na siya, even if it's crunchy outside, gutom na, no? Kasi alas 11 na. It's very soft inside. Jollibee talaga. Yun yung talaga trademark ng Jollibee. No? So, it's like the Krabby Patties. Chloe. Yeah. So, ganon, may trade secret sila, di ba? So, we will be talking about intellectual property. We will be talking about trade secret even with that. No? So, ganon yung business nila, no? So, kasi pag nalaman ng lahat ng tao yon, paano ginawa yon, para sa akin, ayoko na bumili ng big fan pa naman kami ng Jollibee. No? Yung tawag nito, yung isang tumbler ba, na binibili mo madalas, isang tumbler, na magkano yung cost nun? 600, 700 pesos pag ilang parts. So, ibig sabihin, wala nang bibili nun if somebody uncover na ito yung the way to prepare the chicken, no, before frying. Anyway, so that's the business, no? So we're talking about business. So that's where the Jollibee likes to maintain, no? Na wala nakakaalam or nobody else. Kasi yung taste ng Jollibee fried chicken is different ng McDonald's. Yung McDonald's medyo dry, iba rin yung crunchiness niya. So iba rin. So iba-iba. KFC, Greenwich, iba-iba din the way of cooking chicken. So ganun siya, guys, no? So yun yung value na in-offer na Jollibee, for example. So we're just talking about one company, and there are a lot more companies that you can like cross-check or examine. No? So ano ba yung business na to? No? So, okay. But what do you mean by create, deliver, capture? So ganito, no? So we create products and services that the consuming public, the customers would love. No? So I'm just looking at this burger. Now I'm hungry. So, Mr. Noon. Now, you deliver this value to your customer, no? So, of course, you would want to have a lot of customers in our products or our business. That's the ideal scenario. No? So, we want to maintain the value creation in terms of providing good product. No? And we noticed that this fast food always like introduce new kind of product, diba? That the public would want to buy. No? So, deliver quality products on time and also in return for the company, it creates or captures the value for the organization. No? So customers are um, willing to pay for the product that are introduced to them. No, so um, yeah, if the customers find value to this product, then they will buy it. No, so because they kind of really appreciate no, that it offers to you. So again, for example, for us, other businesses like the Food Panda I mentioned earlier, I touched on Food Panda. No? So you would rather like pay the Food Panda to buy food for you and deliver at home than going out because I'm so busy, I need to do work. So you find value in the services of Food Panda, you're willing to pay for it, no, so the delivery fee. All right? So in return, no, so na-deliver yung food sa'yo, yung goods sa'yo, in return, you're willing to, parang the organization also capture the value based on that transaction. And then the company makes money from that. Okay? So, yun nga sabi ko, we don't when we kind of shift our mindsets, no? Shift our mindsets by not being a consumer all the time, but guys producing, creating, providing value, then that's where on the other side yung mga entrepreneurs. Tama? So, tayo kasi, we are consumers, right? So, we are consumers. So, we are on this other side, no? Side na to. Ayan, t-shirt ko na lang. On this side, dito tayo, no? Because we are consumers. But when you start offering your businesses, you're doing your business, so this side tayo, no? So, we are an organization or a startup, no? Offering kinds of services. Um, Services or products that will have value for the consuming public. All right? I hope that's clear, no? And we go to the dimensions of a business model and focus on the elements. So these are the ingredients, processes, structures that enable a company to make money and create value for customers. And the most important phrase here or words is for me it's like the value propositions, and we will discuss a bit more about that. But these are the ingredients, processes, structures that would enable no, the company to make money and create value. So we'll also be talking about a lot more about distribution channels, target customer segments. So sino-sino ba yung mga customers natin? So and then we'll also discuss on, although we already touched on business model, but we'll also be focusing what is the revenue model, no? Then what is the cost structure? Usually we offer the services, basta hindi lugi, no? So we need to have a profit margin out of the cost that we are incurring. Now, who are our partner network? So sometimes businesses partners with other organizations. May not be basically a private organization, it might be the public organization. And how do we establish customer relationships? So we'll be talking about we don't want our customers to buy our products or services for one time only or once. No? So we want our customers to get back to us. No? For example, in Jollibee, so if you're happy with the services of Jollibee, of course, people will go back, come back, and buy even more. You don't want your customers in Jollibee to go to McDonald's. No? So you don't want to lose your customers. So this is more about the customer relationship. So these are the things that are very important. Okay, how would you describe your business model? So right now, class, as a team, I would want you to consider, apply these things that we are now discussing. So how would you describe your business model and identify how can we make money? Okay, so at the start, I expect you guys to kind of discuss with your teammates. No? So from the design thinking to this part to for you guys to kind of discover. No? So what kind of value or services we gonna offer based on the business idea that we have. But you need to start with the business idea. No? Business idea. Again, we talk about this in the design thinking. What is the business idea? Talk to the potential customers you have. Validate your idea. Questions question or conduct interview, and then that's the only time that kind of allow you, to start developing your business model as well. So it would be great, no, supposedly to have a kind of tool, no, to help you on the business model. So what is business modeling? So there are also for big businesses, business modeling, they consider this a process, a framework, and a tool. No, then we kind of sketch the building blocks of your business or product idea. So to understand, in essence itself, the all about the business. Now, just like in the design thinking, we also would want to document our assumptions, because at the start, no, the idea comes from us, but we need to verify or confirm our assumptions. No? So, yeah, so um, these are like the hypothesis, no, sa imong business, kumbaga. So it's very good to define also hypothesis in the business idea that you would want, no? Okay, so that the hypothesis will be used to validate the idea. And finally, this should be a quick iterative market focus. So, tanaw na to ang market. So, when we talk about markets, of course, pila ka book, like for example, in Metro Manila, like for example, if you're into the transportation business, like taxi, so you'd want to know and understand how big is the market, no, for the riding public. Now, for example, the Grab or the Uber, before, I think they kind of studied this very pretty well, no, in terms of how big is the market in terms of providing this kind of services in Metro Manila, the Grab and Uber. And of course, when they started, before they started, these are the things that they actually like prepared, no? They kind of actually really studied or conducted research, so for them to identify how big the market is, so that they will be well prepared, no, in terms of introducing the services. So these kind of things are part of the business modeling. No? So it's a process, it's a framework, and there are tools available for us to actually make use so that we are guided, no, in terms of developing the business model. So these are some of the business modeling tools. Now, if you go to, for example, conduct Google search or Scholar, Google Scholar, you would want to find what are the different kinds of business model. You would cover different kinds of modeling, no, and different kinds of framework. They're looking at what the operations will be all about, what are the strategies, the structure of the company. So things like this, they would want to look into this. So it's a bit extensive. If you want to make sure as a business, no, you want to cover things. You want to like uncover everything there is in terms of how the business will run in the future, no? Kasi you don't want surprises at the end, no? So parang you really want to think about in advance. It's kind of planning the entire business, no? So you have to uncover, no? So and determine. So in this phase, sa business modeling, so usually it's a lot of paperwork, no? And a lot of discussions, a lot of brainstorming, a lot of ideation, how we can, like for example, maximize profit. Paano ba natin talaga i-approach yung customer? How do we market our products? Kailangan ba natin mag-Facebook ad, mag-YouTube, mag-develop ng mga videos, no? Kailangan ba natin yung ABCBN to post our campaign for our products? So these things are entirely considered, no? So for every businesses, lalo na pag mga you want na to scale up na your business, no? So parang gusto mo na because your business is getting bigger, you want ads na in ABCBN. It's no longer just about Facebook ads. It's no longer just about YouTube ads. So in terms of the marketing strategy, no? So these are the things that you would want to look into, no, sa business model. And I think these are really important things because at the end of the day, you want to make sure that you're gonna offer these products to a wide scale of the market, wide range of people as well, especially the product if it's gonna be used by everybody. No, so those are the things that we want to look into the business. Um, this kind of framework, this kind of processes, were actually simplified. No? So this is where we're gonna talk about the business model canvas. So ang business model canvas, so we will be focused here now, is a strategic management template used for developing new business models and documenting existing ones. Now, as I mentioned, that this was organized of or established by Alexander Osterwalder. So it's very simple. No, so I will upload the template here in the LMS so that you'll have time not to kind of look and go over with that. So it offers a visual chart with elements describing a firm's product's value proposition, infrastructure, customers, and finances. So assisting businesses to align their activities by illustrating potential trade-offs. All right. So I think that's easy to follow. No? Um, when Osterwalder introduced the BMC, so there are 9 building blocks. And today, that's the most common parang nakikita natin na BMC, no? So, na canvas. But today, there are proponents of extending the BMC to not only 9, but 12. But at a start, we will cover the 9 building blocks, no, for the BMC. And you usually see that um, in the internet, in all the resources that you can find in the internet. No? So these are the business model, no? Canvas. Okay. So there are a lot of books that refers to kind of in the application of the business model canvas as well. So basically what we want to study and look at for this subtopic is the BMC here, no? So the business model canvas. So I think I have some notes here beside this. Just want to clear the drawings. Okay. So there are some parts that we need to cover that are identified in the business model canvas. So one is problem customer driven. The other one is the assumption versus facts. So again, we kind of touched this already. No? But then this one is iterative, meaning to say you can actually develop BMC based on the reality on the ground. No? So at the start, you develop the business model canvas as an assumption. Now, because you try just to put things together, but later on, you need to identify and verify this on the ground. No? Kung totoo ba yung customer mo si ganito, si ganyan. No? Baka yung customer mo hindi pang bata, kundi yung mga teenagers. No? So, these are different customer segments, kumbaga. No? And then, this is iterative because at the start, you have this business model canvas, but later on, magbabago siya. No? So, based on the findings, based on the learning. So, you can iterate that. Sometimes businesses can iterate for so many BMCs. No? So, until such times they found they found the BMC that fit their startup. No? So, iterative siya. So, another one is get out of the building because again, from the design thinking process in itself, we want you guys to verify that outside, no, not as is that the BMC will be an assumption lang, no. So what we want to do is that the BMC would be a reflection of what's the reality on the ground, no. So that's why you go out, you kind of verify and identify who the real customers are, no, for this startup you're making. So how can you describe your business model? Okay. So again, we mentioned about the 9 building blocks, di ba? So I think for this slide, you can read them unless kung nag-mobile phone mo, no? The 9 building blocks that identified here are from left to right. Sige, let's try, no? So key partners, that's number 1. Then key activities, key resources. So we have 3 already, no? So key partners, key resources, key activities. Okay. What else? Value propositions at the heart of the BMC. So what else? We have customer relationships. and channels, customer segments, cost structure, and then revenue streams. Right? So these are the heart. No? So before, big businesses or even kanang mag-apply ka og loan, so you have to develop your, parang walang structure yun, no? So you have to develop in paragraph form yung business proposal mo para ma-fundingan. Kasi most of the time, many people would start their business na would ask from a loan, no? So for startups, we ask for grant, but that will be on the other topics. Now let's focus on the business model canvas, no? So these are the nine basic building blocks. So cost structure and then revenue streams at the bottom. So we kind of try to develop, no? Develop, and for our business idea, kailangan natin to mag-work out natin. Yan yung i-work out natin. So I think for this particular topic class, so ito yung kailangan nating i-define. No? So this will be your assignment. But prior to that, we will understand kung ano yung dapat ilagay natin. No? So what will be the entries needed for the BMC. All right. So I would like to begin with, let me see. I don't know the succeeding slide, but okay. So remember, no? So we have key partners, key activities, key resources, value proposition, customer relationships, channels, customer segments. So then cost structure, and then revenue stream. So pera yung sa baba. No? Pera yun. And so we start with the value proposition. No? So kasi I mentioned that this is the heart, kumbaga, no, the heart of the business model canvas. Okay, and you will also understand and realize why. So in this particular slide, what we're showing to do, what we're trying to show is that the tips of how we work with the business model canvas, no, yung techniques. So usually the easiest to work with is from right to left. No? So from right to left. So if we go back to our BMC, so from right, from customer segments, customer relationships, channels, value propositions to the left. No? But for me, ang center dito is yung value proposition, no? Because yeah, we'll define it later, but the heart of it all, because of the value, ano ba yung value na in-offer natin. So sketch your first version in one sitting. That means that the three of you guys in a team would want to develop your BMC. No? So parang, okay, you have this business idea now. As a team, you define ano yung business talaga. You need to identify, no, yung ano yung mga dapat natin ilagay in the BMC. So you don't have to know all the answers, just down guesses, assumptions, or even questions. That's the good thing about this. No? So as I mentioned at the start, parang ano muna, no? So anyway, we need to validate that later on, no? So parang umpisahan mo lang muna, no? So what are the things that you need to do? So use different colored sticky notes. So sa inyo, kasi hindi naman tayo mag-workshop, wala tayong workshop. So for now, ang gagawin natin is kayo lang muna, no? Kayo lang muna yung tawag nito. Yung sa template, you can freely answer via laptop, no, using the laptop. So later, you can create multiple canvases for different offerings. So we need to say for different products or kind of services. So you can have different canvases. Pero at the start, isa lang muna, no? Just one. And then we'll try to understand your business model. Then use tools to help you innovate and articulate your assumptions, right? And then you go back to it later, and then if there are assumptions that may not no longer true, then that's the time that we need to revise, or iterate. Kasi dapat kasi dynamic yung ano natin. If these things will not work, you have to revise it. No? So dapat ganun yung attitude. Now let me start with the based on the business model canvas that we have. So let me start with the value propositions. So Kita nyo, di ba, sa gitna. Ito kasi yung heart talaga ng BFC. No? And then, when we try to fill in the box ng value proposition, we need to answer these questions. No? Now, you need to kind of think about what value are we going to provide our customers. So, which one of our customers' problems are we helping to solve? Okay. What bundles of products and services are we offering to each customer segment? No? So, kung halimbawa, different may sorry, different customers tayo, yung product natin applicable ba from for example, from the kids to the youth to the adults and then to the elderlies. No? So we need to find that out. No? So anong customer segment tayo. No? So basically, there are products na, halimbawa, meron tayong products na ino-offer. It doesn't necessarily follow that the products, all of the people are your customers. So to tell you in advance that it's not gonna work. No, it's not gonna work. You need to really identify the customer segment kung sino ba talaga. No? So, other than the age that I mentioned, that would be also for example, the category of the financial means. No? So, meron tayong parang A, B, C, D, E, di ba? Yung based on our capabilities, na financial capabilities. So, halimbawa, pag nag-offer ka ng iPhone 12 na Pro, at saka yung mga high-end na phone, of course, you identify sino yung mga capable na, yung market mo is yung mga, of course, yung mga tao din na malaki yung income, gano'n, no? So, of course, you identify that. And I mean, of course, sa financial na standing, alam mo yung sino kumbaga. So, the market, yung mga kaya mayroong mga market intelligence or market analytics kasi alam nila yung gaano kalaki or gaano karami, halimbawa sa Pilipinas, yung mga willing buyers na yung level na to. So they can establish that, no? So a lot of market research yung ginagawa nila. So we need to answer which customer needs are we satisfying. So meron ba talaga, no? Ngayon, may mga characteristics nito. So, halimbawa dito, newness. So, bago ba to? No? So, performance customization, getting the job done, design, brand status, price, cost reduction, risk reduction, accessibility, convenience, usability. So, dito natin pwede i-state na yung value na in-offer natin, halimbawa, you're offering a product kasi parang yung product mo is better than those sa mga products na nag-i-exist ngayon. So, better in what? Better in performance ba? Better in cost ba? No, better in quality ba? No, so, better. No, all better. So, if you can check that, check. So, meaning to say, those are the kind of value you offer to your customers. No? So, this is way better to Food Panda, way better to Grab Food. So, that's why you are trying to begin a startup, a delivery business. So, ang question is, bakit better? No? What's better with your service than Food Panda and Uber, wala sila. No? Kung bakit wala sila nito. So those are the questions you would ask. Ano ba yung meron tayo compared dun sa competition? Because most of the business ideas basically are not entirely new. Kung new man yan, very, very good. No? But then if they are just an improvement of existing, kasi you want to fight with Food Panda and Grab Food, kasi gusto mo mag-offer ng delivery service, anong meron ka na wala sa dalawa? No, for example, Grab Food and Food Panda. Anong meron tayo? No, na kailangan mo pa parang idikit yung sarili mo doon sa sa delivery business. If you're able to answer that question na with better value offered to the consuming public, then go for that. No? Go for that. So, kailangan mas malaki yung advantage, kumbaga. So, meron tayong distinct advantage or added value to the customers we are offering our business idea. No? Okay. Next is, do you have questions, guys? Meron ba kayong tanong? Do you have questions? Na may pangutana so far? Okay. So, wala.
None, sir, for now.
Okay, not so far. All right, thank you. I hope that's clear, no? So, all right. So, good value proposition is equal to satisfying the customer needs, right? So, that's why sa design thinking, balik tayo ulit sa design thinking, no? So, if you're able to capture the needs really ng customer, yung problems nila, and you were able to solve that problem, no? So they would really be satisfied with the product or service that we offer, then they are really willing to pay for it, di ba? So they're really willing to pay for it because na-solve yung problema ko eh, di ba? So for me, that's entirely very good for me kasi na-solve yung problem ko, no? So I'm happy. No? So another example siguro today, no? So PLDT, di ba? PLDT or Globe, sino ba ba? Converge. They're offering their services, di ba? They're offering their services. No? So they're offering the services. So kasi ngayon, I needed a big bandwidth kasi kailangan sa bahay. Meron akong mga anak na pinapaaral online din. So every day they have classes, every day online. Every day talaga. So I needed the bandwidth. So that's why in terms of the requirement, yeah, so halimbawa, nag-ano tayo ng 100 Mbps, no? So that solves our problem, di ba? So maliban na lang pag may problema na putol-putol, yun yung problema, you will not be able to satisfy your customers kung yung internet connection is putol-putol palagi, di ba? Tapos mabagal, nag-subscribe ka ng 100 Mbps, yung binibigay sa'yo is only 20 Mbps. No, that's the problem. That's really a big problem, and customers will not be satisfied about that. So meeting customer expectation is the most important thing in terms of the value proposition, and I hope that is clear. So I could not emphasize it even more. No, the importance of the value proposition. Okay, next. Um, so I've covered a lot already, no, but there's one definition here. A value proposition is a business or marketing statement that summarizes why a consumer should buy a product or use a service. This statement should convince a potential consumer that one particular product or service will add more value or better solve a problem than other similar offerings. So I mentioned about the comparison between Grab and Food Panda. No? So, and if you will introduce a startup idea, so bakit mo babanggain yon? Are you gonna offer a better service than them? No? Even between the two, the Grab Food and the Food Panda, sino ba yung nagpo-provide ng better value for you? So, have you tried, guys? Have you tried and compared Grab Food and Uber, Grab Food delivery and Food Panda? For you guys, sino yung mas better sa dalawa? Sino yung mas better between? Have you tried that here in Butuan? Yes, sir, si Yanni. So for you, Yanni, which one is better for you? Would that be Grab Food or for me? Grab, right? Parang kayo ni Mrs. Jessa, wala sa among lugar, sir. Wala diri sa among bukid. Si Kernel. Wala sa among bukid. Matt said Grab. So, okay. No. So, question, why Grab? What it makes, why is Grab better than Food Panda? So, anong meron sa Grab Food na, okay, mas nice ang pagka-design overall and mas user-friendly. All right. Thank you, Yanni. All right. So, I think for this, another question that I have, between Lazada and Shopee, which one is better? Let's see, so these are two competing companies. No? And then, in terms of the product offering, no? So, between the two, sino yung may magandang value proposition? Sige nga, mag-survey nga tayo. Can we have a survey here? Diba? Chloe, si Chloe, Ivy said Shopee, si Matt naman Lazada. Alright, let's have a survey. There are 24 of you here. 24 nga ba? 23. Si Kiana, Shopee. So, I need 23 answers. Shopee, that's 3-1. 4-1 for Shopee. Shopee, 5-1. Depende sa paliton. Kay Yani. 6-1 for Meryl. Jan, Shopee. 7-1. Jubil, Shopee. Alright. Kunti pa, kulang pa. Hindi pa tayo kalahati. Sino pa yung hindi nagsagot? Sumagot. Come on. Others. See, okay. Kisha, Shopee, Maisa, Shopee, Larry, Shopee, Jen, Elizabeth, Shopee, Shopee. All right, Shopee. Kulang pa, kulang pa. Shopee si Jessa. Isa pa wala nakatubag. All right. Isa pa wa to nakatubag. Si Giselle, Shopee. Okay. Si Amiel, sabi ni Amiel, Shopee, sir, kay mas lower na ang shipping fee. Okay. Amiel, you mentioned the Shopee, sir, kay mas lower na ang shipping fee. Would you consider this as a value proposition for Shopee, Amiel? Okay, yes, sir. So si Maria, si Kyla also confirmed, no, less ang shipping fee sa Shopee and daghan vouchers para maka-less. Alright, do you guys consider this as a value proposition? That's why you keep on using Shopee? So si Amiel said yes, no? So si Kyla, I would also, right. Yes, sir. Also, confirm, no? Shopee siguro, sir, kadaghan man ga order. Wala pa sad ko ka-testing og order. Okay, well, Mar, no worries. Si Chloe said, yes, easy to navigate ang app sa Shopee kesa sa Lazada and nice same products lang but maless ang price sa Shopee. Okay. Okay. Right. I think it's all true, no? So based on your so you see guys, I'm trying to verify from you. There are 23 of you here. I have assumptions before that for me, Shopee is better than Lazada. But right now, because I asked you to answer me which one is better, Shopee or Lazada, so I kind of verified now that indeed from from my experience as well, so it's not just an hypothesis anymore. It's not an assumption anymore. But indeed, your answers, guys, give me a validation that I am also on the right track now because I'm using Shopee. No? So I'm not promoting Shopee. So ito yun, no? So I have the assumptions and I tried to validate that with your answers. So I hope you kind of also do the same thing, no? Kaya lang, this exercise, you will use this to the people that you think are your customers with your business idea, okay? So this exercise, no? So ingon ani po dyan, no? So, kaya lang very leading ang akong question, di ba? So, na-experience na ako, sir, mas responsive ang mga sellers sa Lazada. Okay, for math, it's Lazada. So, yeah, so wala namang ano, no? There's no wrong answer here. It's just that, okay, so we have different experiences in terms of using both the platform, and then you guys prefer to have it Shopee or Lazada because you see different propositions from different vendors. All right? So that's okay, di ba? So that's healthy. So even with thank you guys now for actively responding to my questions, for answering my questions. I appreciate it really. Thank you. Si John Carl nag-comment di maabot diri sa mo sir. Asa man din na inyo ha John Carl? Oh, asa man din inyo? All right, so I'm waiting for the response of June. Anyway, guys, so just like buying, ano no, just like buying cars, yung ana po gyapon siya, di ba? Like for example, when you buy a car, di mabot diri sa amo sir, walay obviously sa. Okay, sige. Okay lang dyan, Carl. Anyway, when you buy a car, kana po siya, no? So Toyota versus Mitsubishi, which one? Honda. So which among these car vendors have better value proposition? Okay? For example, ako, sige, sige na. Kami is, duha sa among unit is Toyota, the other one is Honda. No? So meaning to say, for me now, medyo bias ko sa Toyota because it's a Japanese brand. You know, not just the quality, but also the reliability. And then they have a shop, no, na sila customer service, proper customer service. They have this repair shop available if there is a problem with your car. So you have different kind of, for us, no, biases based on our early assumptions and also validation. No? So, ingon ana po siya. Okay, kalayo ba dahil mo John Carl namday ka sa Dinagat Islands, no? So siguro da kag bakasyon diha nindot mo mga na mi din na sa imong lugar. Alright, so ay ngala na, no? So I think this is really where the kind of the bottom, the heart of every startup, no? So meron ba talaga, and every business, meron ba talaga, we have to question ourselves, meron ba talaga tayong value that we're offering, no, to the for the consuming public? And the other one is that if your startup is already in a crowded area, crowded place, then the question will be, why should I buy from you and not your competitor? What makes you better? Right, class? I hope, no? So, sige, sa mga boys na dere, so, sa mga boys o sa mga gentlemen, huwag ka nang manguyab ba? Manguyab, no? So, gawa sa tagamay. Ano ba manguyab ba? No? So, nakaikaribal, no? So, namin gipanguyaban. Sa mga boys, dere, mga gentlemen. Diba? So pagpanguyab ni mo so, forgive me, no? Para maklaro gid yung example. So, you would ask nga mura bitong ibaligya gid mo kagulingon nga ako lang gid ang pilian kay aside sa akong nag-uros-uros nga gugma no mas mas maayo ba ko, mas gwapo ko, mas bright ko. I don't know no, if you reach to that point no in terms of selling yourself, but that's the way it is. Now, if you really love the girl, the lady, then you for all. Eh, nga ba mo, mga gentlemen here? Hey guys. Sorry sa ladies ah. So, you will really like try to sell yourself to the extent na you will exhaust all possibilities that you win the heart of the lady or the girl, no? Because you really want her or him. No? So, kung pwede mo na duhan, di ba? Pwede mo na the other side. So, sa gentleman lang sa yunta. So, si Erlington, nag-mention rin, na good services, sir. Good services. Medyo, okay, di kay ko kakuan pa no, pero dili na po ko mag-assume. Na good services, sir. So, si Kernel said, minsan, sir. So, labi nagnaay competition, no? So, how do you win the heart of the person, no? So, meaning to say, how do you sell your product yourself, no? So that the other party would buy to you and not the other party. So, mo na siya selling our product, no? Selling ourselves. Okay, I hope that's okay. So, anong mga ginamention na to karon, those can also be identified as your unique value proposition. You have 10 minutes more. So, kanang unique value proposition, we need to identify that as simple for a person to understand, unique, measurable. So when say faster, so kung faster by how many minutes, no? For example, kung repair ko sa sakyanan, kung muadto kong Toyota, nako 2 days, 3 days, no? So kung magpa-change oil ko, 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, no? So which shop here in Butuan would provide the service na at the instant, immediately you'll get your car at the same time or the same day? So, pwede siya. No? So, sa Toyota, if you make an appointment, within the day you can get your car. No? So, kung, I don't know with other shops here, if you go to the other shops, tingnan na ba siya, no? Kung how fast. So, you can kind of measure that. No? So, meaning to say, because most of us are, parang we value time, di ba? So, if you go there, dapat matrabaho tayo, for example. No? So, we need to be able to kind of measure that. But in the same way, the value proposition should be also unique. For example, you mentioned, guys, in Shopee, the shipping fee is cheaper than Lazada. No? So, that is true. No? Even international shipping, I find it really amazing that sometimes the cost of shipping is just around 75 pesos. And considering that is international in nature. No? So, grabe ka ang Shopee, no? Kanang palit kag t-shirt, then you get one t-shirt and the shipping fee is 75 pesos, tapos dapat voucher daw. So, basig wala na kayo bayaran, no? Sa shopping fee, especially kagahapon nga 10-10. 10-10, no? So, yeah, so these are unique to these are unique values, no, to the company, kumbaga. So, that's how they want to beat the competition between Shopee and Lazada. And these are the things that Shopee really want to penetrate the market and control the market because they were able, no, they were able to kind of find ways to make the delivery fee cheaper, but not at the parang not the expense no of the profitability of the company, right? So yun ano siya, no? Not at the expense of the profitability. You can still offer, and I think this is where the part that parang customer no na relationship is very important. So a value proposition is essentially the most critical aspect of your marketing copy. So marketing in your marketing part, because that's where you would also would like to tell the world that I have this product and service that is way cheaper, 25 or 125% cheaper than the existing product in the market. And if you're able to do that, if you're able to kind of sell that product, so consumers would really look at your product, no? Who would want to spend money on a product that is way expensive, no? To kind of this particular kind of product or service. Okay. So the unique value proposition is also called the unique selling proposition. So this is the factor in consideration presented by a seller as the reason that one product or service is different from and better than that of the competition. So you can actually see in the market today and understand why this company is way better or even like performing better financially compared to the other. For example, Coca-Cola versus Pepsi-Cola. What is the difference between the two? Can I ask you guys? Another ano. So Coca-Cola versus Pepsi-Cola. So again, wala ko ano sa between the two, no, wala ko mate sa ila. So between the two companies guys, which one is do you think is better, no, in terms of offering service and what makes them unique? So Jessa here mentioned Coca-Cola. Yanni said Coke. All right. Who else? Do you have somebody here that would stand for Pepsi? Coke. Right. Coke. I think yeah, my assumption before was really for you guys. Meryl Jan said Coke. Jessel Mondear, Coca-Cola. All right. Colonel said Coke daw sir kay makasig abo ka. Mao ba dito Pepsi dili. So Maiza said Coke. Ang RC Cola sir unsa na brand? I think John Carl, they are different brand, no? So it's not Pepsi. I think no. So they are different. So for you, Carl, it's RC Cola. Chloe said Coca-Cola. Vivian Lane said Coke. Kyla said Coca-Cola Supremacy, sir. Yeah. Coke for Kiana and Jen Elizabeth. Yeah. So this also verifies my assumption that indeed in the soft drinks market, Coca-Cola is the better brand. No? So what makes it? So ito yung tanong. So what makes it the Coca-Cola? What makes it parang better than Pepsi-Cola? Sige. Can you type your answer here in the chat box as I answer this phone call as well? Can you answer what are the unique selling selling proposition for Coca-Cola compared to Pepsi? All right. So, Jun Carl, acidic. Is acidic, or we'll try to validate now, is this a unique selling proposition? Is acidic would make the would make the customer better when they drink it. So, joke siguro ni kay John Carl, no? So, si Jason said, mas daghan sa supply sa Coca-Cola, sir, like sa ubang lugar, walay available na Pepsi. That's correct, no? So, there's this town in Mexico na ang Coca-Cola, mura silang tubig, no? So, every day, yun, this is a town in Mexico na puro, I forget the town, no? But it was in YouTube na maogid ni ang ginainom nila, dili sa minog tubig, gumagkaon, Coke, gidayon ilaha. Ang taste, sir, kay murag tab-ang mansad ang tamis ang Pepsi, mas carry ra ang Coke. Alright, so taste, no? So I think ang gisulti rin ni wait. Sorry, nabalik akong so I was trying to read your comments, guys. So si Jessa said the taste, no? So Coca-Cola tastes better, no? And then Kyla said the kasanayan na ang Coca-Cola, so we're used to drinking Coke. So, kaya that's the preferred, no? And the taste of Pepsi. Dati, the taste of Pepsi, tama ba? Mura og tambal? Masyag tambal? So, karon ni improve na. Less sugar ang Coke, sir. Mao ba? But, yeah, kaya na, the one I mentioned about the town in Mexico that people love to drink Coke, the problem is that they have an increasing incidence of diabetes, no? So that's one of the problems of Coca-Cola, no, or getting soft drinks. So, si Matt said, I think conscious ang uban nga tao, sir, kung asa ang mas healthy. Yeah, between the two, so my wife would always say, doctor, no, yeah, so we need to avoid Coke, but of course, sometimes there is celebration like Sunday, so that's the only time, no, that we would drink Coke, no, so not every day. Alright. Si John Carl, mas makatig-up man ka, sir, kung acidic. Sige, John Carl. Sige. Okay, thank you guys for your answers. So, yeah, so just an exercise, no? So we're looking at the value proposition for others. So that means that Coca-Cola tastes much better. So the question is much healthier. I think that's a big question, no? So I'm sorry for that. So, okay. Yeah, it's already 12 o'clock. I'll stop here, guys, and I'll entertain questions if there are. If there are any questions, I'll just stop our discussion here. Maybe you have some questions that you want to ask or clarify based on our initial discussion about WMC. So we're gonna continue on this topic next meeting. So on Thursday, I'm really apologizing in advance. I cannot meet you, so that would be next Monday. Anything that you would want me to attend to questions? Yeah, any question? Right. Okay, I hope it's clear. Okay, Colonel, yes, you raise your hand.
Hi, sir. Sir, my question, sir, is related sa katong team formation, sir.
Alright.
The product or the prototype that we're going to make, sir. Sir, kami lang ba ang mag-consider sa user namo, sir? Like, kami lang ang mag-identify kung kinsa ang user sa among product na papagabuhaton?
Okay, thank you, Colonel, for the question. So, yeah, so it starts with your business idea, and that's the part wherein, as a team, you will do the ideation, you will do the design thinking process, identify who will be your customers. You will think about who really your customers are based on this business idea. So at the start, those will be your assumptions. No? So you assume that this particular segment of people will be your customers. Yeah, so it's part of the process with your team, of course. No? So that's why I want you guys to work with your team so that there are a lot of help, no, in terms of developing the business idea. I hope that answers your question, Colonel.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Yes, Matt. Question, Matt. Yes, Matt.
Sir, sir, in addition sa katong kang Kuya Kernel na question, sir, ang mga tanatuod mi, sir, kung i-propose ba jud ay di ba sir amo i-propose ni siya sir something or i-continue jud ba namo siya sir na i-conduct jud ang actual na product or service namo i-formulate.
Yeah, so for this, ideally, many of the Tech 101 in the US, in other parts of the country, or maybe outside, no? So basically, ang requirement nila, no, so technopreneurship nga subject is really at the end of the semester, dapat naanay halin, no? Naanay halin or naanay investment. So depende, no? So right now it's very early to say. So very early to say because I'm not sure if you're able to develop products immediately. No? So ang uban ana is basically ang ginabuhat is kung naamoy alin nga 10,000 pesos immediately all of you in the team will be able to kind of get a grade of 1.0. So don't question about that. So naamoy halin, kumbaga naamoy halin. You have the product already, you have the service already. If you do that, so yeah, so ingonana, no, but I for this particular class I don't really require it, no, because what we wanted to do is it's gonna be a voluntary kind of thing, no, na you guys will be you'll understand about the basic principles of doing business, coming up with your business, but at the end of the day the entrepreneurship is dapat sa inyo na magikan, no? So it should be coming from within. The inspiration, the motivation should be within, not because you are required, no? So of course, if there will be people here or team here that was able to like provide evidences that they were able to sell their products or from the business idea, then I would do the follow the same thing. No? So if you're able to do that, then you get of course, the top of the grades. No, that's one thing. So for this subject, I want you guys to work on the process first. So process. Ang uban universities, pas-pas naman sila. No, so for example, in Metro Manila, in terms of the ES 20 for this kind of subject. Immediately, yeah, so the final requirement would be not only to pitch the business idea but to get an investment, no? Meaning to say to get a grant from the government or to the private sector. So for now, that's the ideal, no, situation supposedly, but then I know with the pandemic, so it's difficult to do that. So we'll try to for now develop the entire business business nga the business in itself parang establish the kind of the paperwork related to the business that you want to engage in. So basically sa pitching part, what we would try to do is that in the final pitch, no, on late November or in early December, mura na siyang tinuod, no, ang inyong business idea would kind of really mura siyang tinuod that you will be asking for funding because we're gonna invite people outside CSU, not me, but outside CSU, like some business representative from the Chamber of Commerce to listen to your business pitches, business idea pitch, and the DTI to listen, no, to your pitches so that or even the people, no, from the Chamber of Commerce because those are the businessmen. If you're gonna be needing money because you are really serious to start your business, then these people can help. No? So we are asking for 100,000 pesos because this is the business, and we tried to really cover the business, cover everything, no, about the business proposal we have. So ay nga nasa, no, pag-pitch, during the pitching. Of course, we will be teaching you how to pitch, what needs to be done. But we're trying to cover here and understand your business first. No? So what is your business idea or business proposal? And hopefully, by doing that pitching event, you will be able to get something out of the, parang kung meron ba tayong businessman dito would be willing to fund your business idea. And then it's up to you guys, no? And then if you will be able to get funding, then that would be very good, no, because you can start really, even if you're students, you can already work on your businesses, no? So sa Pilipinas man good, medyo very ano tayo, risk averse, no? So unlike the attitudes of the students in the US, so even if they are still students, they're already mga racket, no? So they're trying to provide for themselves already. You know, in the US, di ba, ang culture sa US, if you're 18 years old, so you will not be parang provided with support by your parents anymore. You have to really stand up for yourself, find your ano no, mga independent ka, no? So in the Philippines man good, that somehow it's taking a long time, no, for that to happen because of our culture. So bisan pag 30 years old na pagyapon sa balay. So in its essence, no, so this is also part of the process we're doing here in Technopreneurship 101. Because we want you guys to be independent in the future. You don't rely to your parents, to somebody who's providing. So meaning to say you can make money out of this business idea that you're having so that you can be independent in the future as well. Yes, Colonel, you're still raising your hand. Do you have any other question?
Eh, sir, wala ko kabalon sa
Hands down. Okay. Yeah, that's okay. That's okay.
Pero sir,
All right.
ako yung question, sir. Naana lang ko
Yep.
yung question.
Yes. Okay.
So actually, sir, kay conscious me, sir, if kung proposal na bagid mi taman sa among pagkabuhaton, like naami plan, example makahuna-huna mi technology based ang buhaton, like application or system, then magduduha kami mo padayon sa among plan because tungod kay kanang sa programming na part, sir, murag dili na mo kaya kanang mo-program namin application mo ingana. So murag ana siya, sir. So kana na sa ako, sir, kung kailangan bagid na namo ibuhaton or kanang proposal lang sa gid, sir, like kung application ang plano na mo buhaton, sir.
Yeah, so basically to answer your question, so as of this time, it would have been ideal if you can show your prototype, no? So na ay prototype, murag basic lang prototype, no, supposedly. But because of the situation we are in right now, it's difficult to, I know it's difficult to work on it, no? So for example, finding people to do the coding for you guys. So meaning to say, it's difficult for me find the business idea that you guys, the three of you, can produce, no? So without depending on other people, no? So mo na siya ang core nga aspects of business bitaw sa startup, that at the start at least you guys know what you are doing, no? So without depending on other people who is not yet included in your team. But in some situations, scenarios, like for example, in kaning mga the good thing about people with having money, because they can hire people to do the task that you want them to do, no? For example, the one that you mentioned, you need a programmer, so they can hire people to do the task, no? So if that business idea is really good and you can find somebody na computer science ang background who is also studying in CSU, I would entertain, no, that they can become a member of your team, and then do the initial work, kumbaga exploration, designing the product, things like that, and then showing the initial minimum viable product that you can somehow generate, no, the idea. So yun nga na siya, we're open. So meaning to say, pwede diskarte, kanya-kanya diskarte, no, if you're able to do that. But at the end of the day, when we try to pitch our products come December, hopefully if naay mga things na they know what they're doing, because you can have your at least no ang business idea proposal, at least no business idea proposal. So sa mga na-prototype na initially, then that would be an added advantage, I think, no? But the basic requirements for us here, no, at least business idea proposal. So kung wala mo prototype, yeah, so that's the the bottom line is that if you're trying to cover a very realistic business proposal, then that's okay. No? So, and then the other ones would have, for example, initial prototype, then that would also be an advantage to them. Like, for example, especially if they're asking for money. All right. I hope that answers your question. Yes, or nakadagan na. Yes, Matt. So I see Matt first.
Sir, ni pangutan akong isa ka classmate, sir, ba nag-inquire siya, sir, kung restricted ra ba jud sa technology based ang among himuon na kuan, sir, business na idea, or pwede mi go beyond na like something about sa may kuan food, sir, like anang gi-message ni kuan Kuya Colonel, sir.
Yeah, so very unfortunately, our subject is into technology based. No? So technopreneurship and engineering. So if there is food related business, siguro ako na is what kind of technology that you can use, no, to integrate it with the food, no? Paano kaya, no? For example, is there a combination of food and technology why we kind of say engineering maganda, no? That's the problem. If we are into the food tech business, that's easy, no, to start with a business. Kaya lang, for our class, I want you guys to think about what kind of technology we can tap or use in relation to the food business that we are trying to propose. Is that okay? So any kind of technology engineering, so would that be ICT? Would that be so anything that you can think of technology that you can integrate in terms of selling or marketing your product, or that's why people always want to develop their own platform, things like that. So so we have some constraints in terms of the subject because we want to use our engineering skills applied in the business, so related to the business idea. Sa LMS, I will post this in the LMS, no, kanina topic, as soon as I am okay to post it. I will make some revisions na siguro muna din this topic. And again, ang assignment, no, always be to summarize. No? So from this class, siguro you summarize first, and then I'll post the. Yes, Colonel.
Sir, this will be my last question for today.
Sure.
Sir, kanang about sir sa ang among pagabuhaton na products or service, kanang or prototype, sir. Ang ako lang question, sir, is kanang sa testing na stage na beta, sir. How are we gonna do that, sir? Pag-test sa iya.
Yeah, it depends also, no, kung what type of products or service. So again, there are two things here, products or service, diba? So those are the type of service that you can offer. So of course, we need to understand what kind of test that needs to be done if this is the kind of product you're offering or service that you're offering. So kung ay dili product, kung service lang siya, because you're trying to offer this service using a kind of technology, related to technology, then kung service siya, so most likely ang test is parang survey, no, survey. So parang survey to the potential customers or users of the service. Ano siya? Testing.
Okay, sir, thank you, sir. So better gid na as soon as possible maka-present kami sa among prototype.
Yeah, it's better kung may prototype, that would be an added advantage for you. But kung wala yun, then just tell the business idea, no? So why this business is gonna make money, why this business is gonna, so it's just the process that we're trying also to learn, no, and apply.
Sir, kanang kanang open pud ka na, sir, like kanang ever na aming mga questions about sa akong business idea, sir, kung mangayo mig mga corrections or idea po mismo based sa among idea, mangayo po mig opinion sa imo, sir. Okay ra na sa imo, sir?
Yes, no problem. No, so I'm open. I'm just waiting for you guys kung mag-set up mo schedule, no? So, let me know sa group chat na lang. If you would want to have some follow-up, parang consultation, I'm available Monday, 1 to 5 p.m. Just set an arrangement or schedule with that. Then Friday, 1 to 5 p.m. As long as wala ko na pre-arranged na meetings. Usually, good karon no, mga virtual meetings, ano. So, but then, I'll try to set aside Mondays and Fridays. Okay, usually na ako meeting Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday sa hapon. Yeah. You can schedule a meeting with me. No problem. No, I can
Okay, sir.
entertain.
Noted. Noted po, sir. Noted po. Thank you so
All
much.
right. Yeah. Okay, you're welcome. All right. So I'm sorry, guys. It's already 12:18. So with that, I hope you guys will have, we'll have a wonderful lunch, sumptuous lunch. So my apologies na medyo overtime ta. But yes, we can have more discussions during our consultation. Again, I will not be meeting on Thursday. I will be meeting you next Monday to finish this, or hopefully to finish now, because there are a lot of things that we need to discuss with the business model canvas or the business model itself. All right. So, okay. Napagod. Colonel and Matt? Yes. Do you have more questions, or you want na lang to schedule na lang with me? If you're okay, we can have a meeting later this afternoon. Okay? Because I'm sorry with the other participants and students, they might be very hungry already.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Wala lang to na ako na-drop, sir.
Okay. All right. With that, thank you, guys.
Maniod to na ta, maniod.
All right. Okay. Bye-bye. Thank you, guys, for
Thank you,
attending
sir.
this class.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you,
Okay,
sir. Bye-bye,
bye-bye.
sir.
Bye-bye.
Thank you,
Okay, have
sir.
a good day. Bye-bye.